I do actually. I really love art, and in college, my in my bachelor degree, I got a degree in philosophy, but my undergrad or my minor, excuse me, was
Uh-huh.
in art history. I really really love
Wow.
art, and I've gone to museums forever with my family, and like when I've lived abroad in London, I would go to a museum once a week probably. But this project was especially cool because I went to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum with Eric Aronson, the director, and we walked
Mhm.
through.
Taylor, how's it going?
How you doing? Great to talk with you.
Hey, big fan of your work. First time I saw you was on Nikki Costa's movie Night Night.
Oh yeah, I actually just spoke with Nikki yesterday. I'll have to tell her that. That's
Oh,
awesome.
really? Yeah, I haven't spoke to her in a while actually, so but I hope she's doing well.
Yeah, she's great. We have a funny joke. She always tells me she's like, "You're my muse. I need to put you in everything." So whenever she's doing something, she did something a little short recently that I did with her, and she's great. I love Nikki.
Oh, that's fantastic. You see, I like when there's commonalities, people I'm connected to before working together, I love that.
Absolutely.
Man, how many, I've seen you in stuff. You've been an actor on my radar for a while. Since I think I've seen you in Night Night, I've been kind of following and see. I just, it's funny because too, I recently I saw you in Renner and I spoke to Frankie and Roberts too. So it's like all these films are sort of leading me to you and
Such
people.
a small world. Well, it's great to chat with you. Yeah, Renner just came out recently, and that was another fun project working with different creatives, and Frankie was fantastic. It was a good time.
Yeah, Robert's a really cool, fun filmmaker too. So it was fun to see you in that project.
Absolutely.
Man, how much fun did you have on any day now? It seemed like, I mean, you, I'm telling you, like I've seen you in stuff, and this was the most like coolest and relaxed you were on screen, and just seeming like, man, I kind of want to hang out with this dude. You and Paul had awesome sort of chemistry too. Tell me how fun it was working on it, because it just popped. Honestly, watching you, just feel like this guy's having a wild time, but it's a blast. But such a likable character too. It just felt natural watching this.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, the response has been really cool. Last night we had a big screening in Boston, and people were saying a lot of the same stuff. It's very grounded and natural,
Yeah,
which I think you kind of need against this sort of wild heist. And I've played some assholes, as you saw in
yeah,
Renner, and
exactly.
yeah, and in Night Night as well. There have been some characters that are a bit more unsavory and a little more out there and wild. So this character was cool because he's more dropped in and a person that, like you said, he's like an everyman, and I really wanted
He's
to capture.
relatable.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to capture that this is happening to just a guy who he didn't ask for it. He's a security guard at a museum, and next thing you know, the mob is in there trying to infiltrate him in the museum, and he kind of gets caught up. And the cool thing about this is it's based on a true story, so like this really did happen to somebody.
I mean, when you were reading that, I mean, the details, like, okay, this isn't, it feels like it's made up because, like, how would this ever happen and all? But, like, how did you delve into the story itself? Were you, like, finding yourself researching it and trying to get in details and stuff? Because it's fascinating. I kept on forgetting that this is, like, based on true events and stuff, too, while watching this.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, it's to this day, it's the biggest art heist in history, which is wild. Like $500 million worth of art stolen. And like you said, it's hard to believe that that's true. And yeah, I mean, they made a docuseries on Netflix that I watched that sort of detailed the whole cold case of it all. And there's still a $10 million reward for anyone who has any information. So if you know or anyone listening, come to me, we'll split it, and we'll be all good.
It's just unbelievable in this day and age with the social media and everything, no one's figured it out too. It just, wow, the mystery sort of builds on the mystery.
Yeah, it's wild. Someone's either burned all of this or they're hiding. Can you imagine the person that has this sort of propped up in their living room and they can only show the people that they trust?
Yeah, and what do you do with it too? Like it's worth all this stuff, but it's like you're not turning it into anything
Yeah, yeah,
either.
I guess the art is worth more than the $10 million reward.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I need this solved too. Was the pizza box containing actual pizza, or was there more to it?
No, no, that we actually shot. That's so funny.
I
You're the
love
first
that
person.
shot, by the way. It was such
Yeah,
a cool shot.
you're the first person to bring it up. That's great. And
Oh
we
wow.
shot the end sequence, which was cut from the movie, which I like more because it leaves it a bit more open-ended. I end up driving to, yeah, Eric probably wouldn't mind me saying this. I end up driving to Alex, who plays, what is her character name? Alex played, oh boy.
Oh, Alex or Sarah.
Sarah, yes. So he drives to Sarah's house because she's moved across the country, and he's brought that pizza box because it was the painting that they spoke about, the Manet, which
Mm,
at the end, and Paul's character is like, well, the Manet hasn't shown up. What's happened to it?
yeah.
He sort of played the players, and he had it set up like, okay, if they're gonna do this robbery, I'm gonna get something out of this. And he showed up at her place, and he has that painting. But Eric liked it more, which I really enjoy, this open-endedness of who knows where he's driving,
Yeah.
and in the pizza box, what is it? And it is the art though.
Yeah, I figured that too. But oh, I like how there's actually, because I was going to ask, I'm like, oh, did you visualize where he was going or sort of thing? But there was a story made to where he was actually headed. Oh, that's cool to know. I love these little details.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool that you picked that up. That I forgot now that I've seen it a couple times, this version, I forgot that we had actually shot him making it out to the West Coast.
Yeah. And it's such a subtle, quick shot of that pizza box, too. You know, it's like one of the
Yeah.
last things you see in a frame. I loved it. How'd you guys, that shot too? Where were you driving too? Because I imagine it's you actually driving, right?
It was me driving. Again, you're picking up on all the nuance. That one started, it was a very smooth production and it was a proper indie and we were doing it in the producers. We had some very experienced producers who kept it running a tight ship, but that was our last day of shooting,
Wow.
and they were already worried about me driving. And then once I did start driving, we were only supposed to go over one bridge, and I took a wrong turn, and I had the camera in the car with me,
Oh,
the camera operator. And I remember on the radio, they're like, wrong way, wrong way. So we were going over all of these bridges because I don't know Boston that well. So we were
uh-huh.
like ripping through Boston. I don't know the name of that bridge, but I'm sure people who are familiar with Boston will know what it is. So that created a bit of a fuss when we were filming.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad I asked that. It came out to be a great shot too, you know.
It's really cool. It's really cool. It
It's such a
reminds,
cool shot.
it pays a little homage. I don't know if Eric would love it, but of Good Will Hunting, when at the end he writes that note for Rob Williams. He goes, I'm gonna go see about a girl. And he drives along a similar road that we drove on in Boston.
Oh, awesome. So many, I mean, yeah, to the Bostonians who get to watch it, there's a lot of slice of your town in that for sure.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Were you like a guy that's interested in art to begin with, or just like you learned stuff about art in this film too, while working on this project, or are you someone that goes to museums and checks stuff out out of curiosity?
I do actually. I really love art, and in college, my in my bachelor degree, I got a degree in philosophy, but my undergrad or my minor, excuse me, was
Uh-huh.
in art history. I really really love
Wow.
art, and I've gone to museums forever with my family, and like when I've lived abroad in London, I would go to a museum once a week probably. But this project was especially cool because I went to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum with Eric Aronson, the director, and we walked
Mm,
through sort of experience all the art. And there's a lot of empty frames where they stole the art. They've never replaced it. So
really?
in the museum, there'll be a frame, a massive frame with nothing in it from when they like cut out the Rembrandt.
Wow. So that's, I guess you got to kind of honor the history of the situation too. So it's like you can't just fill it in. Something happened. You need to acknowledge that, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
Isabella Stewart Gardner, her one stipulation with the museum when she handed it over, I forget who
Mhm.
she gave the estate to. She said, I'll sell it to you, but you can't change anything in the museum. So when the theft happened, they were like, oh, we can't replace it because that was in our agreement. So it all comes down to her wants when she gave over the museum.
So much history. Did you hear from people either like, art junkies or what is in a sense, or people who are fascinated by this story kind of reaching out to you or just kind of sharing their stories or
Yeah,
theories?
because it's a huge story in Boston. Everyone in Boston is aware of it, and people who were around in the '90s, like my parents, were very familiar with it because it
Wow.
it was in national news and this sort of big event. But in Boston specifically, people, it's very close to their heart, and everyone has their own theories. There was the mob at the time, and everyone has an idea of what happened. So it's been fun to hear from people and hear their sentiments about it all.
Yeah. I like the look you had in this film too. Uh,
Thanks.
it was your choice, or you had like
Yeah,
makeup
it's
and hair
different. It's
sort of?
different across the board. Like you said you saw Night Night. That was a different look, and then
Yes,
to Renner that and Saturday Night, they're all different, right? And
yes.
this one was set in the 90s and Eric had an idea, hair and makeup had an idea, but we had talked about a mullet, and I was like, I like a soft little mullet and sort of just
Uh-huh.
more scraggly with the facial hair. He's a struggling musician, and so we really wanted to embody that wholly, and I think the look comes across really well for it.
It does. It makes it feel like not only time wise, but like I'd imagine this guy to be that, you know? So
Yeah,
all hit. Like he's relatable. He's sort of a everyman, but he looks like it too, you know?
yeah, absolutely. You really picked up on all the nuance of it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's you see, that's when we have a good team of a director who knows what he wants, and a cast, you know, that sort of collaborates on things like these sort of things start popping out, which makes it so cool, you know, because you notice it if you're paying attention, and it all makes sense. That's the best part. This stuff makes sense, you know. That's why it's sort of a cool O'Day, you know, in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, every little piece came together, and that's a place right there to speak of the crew and the rest of the cast as well. Everyone was so great, and some of the actors who are from Boston, their accents are perfect. They embody what Boston is, and so
Uh-huh.
everyone on this project was fantastic, from costumers to hair, and makeup to locations that we shot at. And Miguel, the DP, was amazing. I thought the look of the movie was very beautiful. So yeah,
Yes.
it's a really really fun project.
Yeah, it really was. And in so many ways, like you said, man, I spoke to Paul a few days ago, and he's like an encyclopedia. This guy's been in the industry so long, and his knowledge, the way he talks. Were you picking his brain? I mean, you guys had great chemistry. I thought it came off on screen dynamic. I even asked him about it too, and he really praised you too for your work and dedication. What was it like working with him? Because I imagine as an actor too, I'm like, I would want to learn and know stuff from this guy.
Yeah, no, that's really sweet. He's the man. Last night we had a screening in Boston with about 500 people, and he received a Lifetime Achievement Award, which was so well
Wow.
deserved. And hearing some of the sentiments about him, and also what he's done, he's been in so many things. It sort of blew my mind. And I think someone mentioned it about him being an actor's actor, and he's that to a T. He has so much to give. And like you said, I was sort of a sponge with him, and you learn most by just sort of the friction of being across someone. And in scenes, we really just put our heads together and went for it. And I think that's been one of the main sentiments I've been hearing back, especially after the screening last night, is how we worked together. It really clicked, and I feel so fortunate to have been across from him because he was great in the movie.
You know, I told Paul, I'm like, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but this felt like a buddy movie, like a buddy comedy in a way,
Yeah,
too. He's
yeah.
like, it is, you know, and in so many ways, because you guys played it off so well. Like two polar opposites, you know, different sort of from different parts of the, you know, world, and just people you'd never expect be together, but they formed this bond and friendship. And it was like a buddy movie, you know, because you guys spent so many scenes together and so many different conversations. It came off to me that way.
It is true. I mean, now that you say it, there is a whole buddy element to it, and it's like the odd couple. They don't necessarily belong together, but they're
Yes.
perfect together, and it's the yin and yang. Even when they visit his aunt, and that whole scene is that feels very much so out of a buddy. I want to say buddy cop, but just a buddy movie.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, no cops here. Different end of
Yeah,
the spectrum on that one.
yeah,
Running from cops.
exactly.
Mark Pesky, I was a huge fan of the Saturday Night movie. You were part of it. One of the best casts, you know, to get. How much fun was that working on that project too? I wanted to get a sort of a take what that set was like.
It was electric. I mean, Jason is such an incredible director and creator and writer, and he did an amazing job of assembling, like you said, a great cast, a
Yeah.
great crew, and the way they built out the home base, basically, our base camp. Normally you have trailers and you're off on your own, and that's actually nice on projects to go sort of steal away and have moments of peace and respite. But this, he just created a dressing room that was straight out of 75. Like all of the furniture was of the 70s, and we were sort of living in that moment for whatever it was, like 2 months that we were down in Atlanta at the studios. And Yeah, it was so fun and so electric on set because you have so many great actors who are bringing so many fresh ideas, and it's a comedy, and we're sort of trying to grab the spirit of Saturday Night. So everyone in every scene was trying to add their flair, and it just added to a great time.
Yeah, you guys really captured the spirit. I'd always imagine what it would be like. You know, you see documentaries and sort of things like that, but the essence of it was really captured. I mean, Jason's one of the best in the business to do it. So just a great sort of ensemble film, you know. And
Absolutely, absolutely.
Taylor, man, like I said, I'm a fan of your work. You just keep on getting better and better every time I see you, and I'm excited to see what next. You work with really cool filmmakers, you know, many of whom I've spoken to and know. Keep on doing awesome work. I'm excited for what's next for you.
Thank you so much. I look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I cover all the stuff you're usually in, so this is probably let's make it happen.
Amazing. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate the time and the fun conversation.
You got it. Have a good one.